Whatever the cause of this recent pandemic, be it natural occurrence, human conspiracy, or power of God, what power do we have in this situation to do anything to help the situation? I believe focusing on that right now is particularly important because there's a lot of fear that's associated with uncertainty, and that's perfectly natural. But I just want to contribute my 2 cents to the hopefully growing chorus of voices that are focused on what we can do and how we can envision a better world. So, indeed, if it is natural causes that cause this, then we can change our consumption habits. We can deal with the natural consequences of this by changing our hygiene habits. That is great. We can start to get off the meat, especially the factory farm stuff, where superbugs are being created by very disgusting conditions, by the overuse of antibiotics. We can grow our own food, anything and everything, wherever we can. We can learn to produce, share, barter, trade locally. We can learn to shop in bulk, prepare our own plant based food to reduce our carbon, plastic, and bacteriological, virological footprint through fewer grocery store trips, less petroleum and water heavy foods, less packaging, less unnecessary contact, and crucially, by creating less death and suffering and less breeding ground for superbugs. If done right, this can save both time and money. If you believe it was unaided nature who did this and it's simply human government responding in its typical bumbling, myopic, imperfect way to what was a human-mediated but ultimately natural occurrence, then please get into government. Render it more sane. You're needed now more than ever. And you can do that from your phone or computer. You can participate in our democracy in all kinds of ways. Alright, what if its source was in human conspiratorial causes? Awareness of and scrutiny of political activities of the top down imposition of social change is really helpful. What power does this give us, however? Granted, if you're in the right clubs or have the ears of global leaders under your influence, that's amazing. Share your thoughts with them. I'm sure they'll see the light, change their nefarious schemes for global domination. Um, they might not all be nefarious schemes. Who knows? If it's China trying to crash the world economy and buy up all the assets, well, you can support your local businesses in whatever way you can. Buy up real estate and stocks so we own our own country. That'd be great. I think now's the time to do that from what I hear. If it's simply all too messed up for you, you can always exercise your power to opt out of the society. You can flee to the hills, live by survivalist means as long as you can. I'm not sure how long that will last. I'm not sure what we can do if it is indeed the New World Order's plan to restructure global society and economy through controlled panic and false or real alien invasions, pandemics, chip implants, vaccines, a new totalizing digital currency that can be controlled from a centralized space, them covering up their crimes, etc. If you have ideas on how to impact that or improve that situation, please share them, preferably in code, preferably in person or on the dark web. I'm not sure even that is safe from that kind of reach if that is the case. Um, what if this is the case, this third one is the case, nothing is necessarily safe. But if it is indeed the second coming, great. Babylon is done, and if you're living right, you're probably good. Pray to your God, to your ancestors, to your intercessors, accept Jesus Christ, get right with the source, whatever God you believe in, etc. But while we're still here, the more pressing question is, what kind of society are we going to imagine emerging in its wake and to begin creating now? What kind of emotions, spiritual energy, are we going to choose to create in response to this? We could choose to respond to each of those three options with fear and resignation, or with gratitude and action. I believe in the power of prayer, manifestation, and affirmation because these options help program the supercomputer that is our mind, connect us with the source of creation, our source of creativity, which is not the individual ego, but is something much bigger. And yet, our individual minds being programmed with a positive vision of the future, we're more likely to share that vision with others through words and through our actions, the examples of our lives and our lifestyles. And the more people we have prayed up and manifesting a positive vision of the future, the more, regardless of whether it's any of those particular sources, we can still impact those. The better we're able to respond to any of those causes in different ways, granted, but in mutually integrated ways. Because us, as the in-between beings that we are the beings that connect the natural and the divine realm by means of the type of society we choose to create, by means of the emotions we cultivate, and the subsequent ways we choose to treat each other based on those society and emotions. Yes, there are powers greater than us, but in how we choose to relate to them and to each other, we can choose to make a heaven or a hell of this situation. That is the interpretation of the kingdom of God as something that we have mutual responsibility to co-create with the greater powers. Speaking of those greater powers, so the earth is cleansing itself, or God is cleansing the earth, or humans have taken it upon themselves to decide that they are the ones to cleanse the earth, or all three of those. Any of those greater powers can be seen as guiding lights which we can follow if we're paying attention and not just mindlessly following, especially the human option. But if we're following those intentions behind those options, what are we going to do to cleanse ourselves is the question, I think. So first, it seems we're being asked to cleanse ourselves of unnecessary motion, of inessential, quote unquote, hustle and bustle. We're being forced to rest and manifest. But what and for what? It seems we're being thrust inwards, deeper into ourselves as well as into the global web of our interconnectedness, into a more introspective, ecologically friendly world, potentially, if we create it, where humans reflect on their problems and potentialities and develop better relations with our God or higher power, with our loved ones and our other fellow inhabitants of this earth, whom we need now more than ever to help them survive and thrive, and for them to help us survive and thrive. We're now explicitly more interdependent and mutually in need of mutually educating and supporting each other. And crucially, in a relationship with ourselves, a deeper relationship with ourselves, with our latent talents, which we now have an even more explicit self-responsibility to develop and to extend if we so choose. This can be a new world where food production and consumption happen in an increasingly safe way and at an increasingly local level, and the sharing economy can boom, where we can green our cities and render ourselves more independent from and appreciative of grocery stores, growing whatever we can, wherever we can, on balconies and rooftops and backyards and along city streets, where we can grow herbs, grow our own pharmacy, freeing our hospitals for those who really need them. Hospitals are where a lot of superbugs are created as well. This can become a world where instead of mindlessly hoarding out of a fear of scarcity, we take responsibility to create abundance in all the ways that we have available to us. This can become a world where work makes more sense with less commuting, less wasted time, gas, resources, where work from home is the new norm and we can save personal as well as petroleum-based energy. A world where we undertake personal and collective efforts at retooling the economy and retraining the many who can learn other ways of making a living and who now must do so, including me, if they don't want to depend on a perpetual nanny state government, and who must be helped in the process if we want to do this together, which is the way we'll be collectively the strongest. So even if you don't think you can help, you can help some. Even if you've lost all your jobs right now, you have something to give to society. Have that mindset, and that's going to help us across the board. I think also commodity production, distribution, and consumption can follow suit on the heels of food to become cleaner, as can the production, distribution, and consumption of energy. I'm out here in San Bernardino now, enjoying the clearer skies. I'm out here for a month, and I've never seen the IE so brilliantly blue. So I'm inspired by how quick nature can begin to reset itself, and would love to help keep it that way. So please help me continue to imagine this. Please help yourselves continue to imagine this. Please help us as a collective continue to imagine this better world above and beyond all the fear and uncertainty and frightening rhetoric out there. We have this moment, this opportunity to create something different. I'll continue to share the ways in which I see us able to encourage this into becoming a net positive for the world. And please share with me and with others how you imagine a better world during and after this. Envision it. Let's create a collective dialogue of actually picturing this, envisioning it, sharing it, discussing it. And if you want to share this video, if you found it helpful, that would be rad. I'm sending out a prayer to all those who watch this and beyond. I hope this helped you, that you'll be even more able to help yourself, your loved ones, and our collective situation by using a better form of thinking than, yes, many of us have been accustomed to. Fear is natural in times of uncertainty, but burn it out. We have opportunity to create something way better and more beautiful than we've been living in, that maybe even we can imagine. So yeah, stay up. I love y'all. Peace, guidance, protection. protection, safety, health to you all.